Hello everyone, I'm Paul Grimes. It's hard not to watch The Killer and see director David Fincher's knack for precision directly channeled on screen through the title character. It's now streaming on Netflix and I want to talk about it. This is Paul's trip to the movies. Michael Fassbender stars as the killer, who is never given a name and is credited simply as the killer. He gives a new alias with every flash of his passport or boarding ticket, each one using a different sitcom character like Sam Malone or Archie Bunker. Now, Fincher always knows how to drop a dry sense of humor to his typically dark films. Chapter 1 finds him in Paris in an abandoned WeWork office space. He's biding his time, setting up his space exactly as he needs it to deliver on his job of killing the person in the apartment directly across from him. He has a cot, an assault rifle, and listens to the Smiths in his downtime. The killer is narrating his thought process, stating he doesn't believe in luck, karma, or justice, and sometimes it just comes down to WWJWBD. What would John Wilkes Booth do? The job does not go to plan, with an innocent woman getting shot instead of the target. The killer finds himself on the run. His next stop is his home in the Dominican Republic, only to find that his home and compound have been completely compromised. From there, he's covering his tracks, trying to save his life, foreshadowing what may come next. The film also stars Charles Parnell and Tilda Swinton. David Fincher reteams with screenwriter Andrew Kevin Walker after working on Seven together back in 1995. The film is based on the graphic novel of the same name. If you're familiar with Fincher's style, it's perfect material for him. Now, he's dabbled in the world of serial killers before, but The Killer is a hired assassin, which Fincher then approaches much differently. The film is told through 6 chapters and an epilogue, all set in a different location with a different target. The first chapter is set in Paris, and it's a direct ode to Alfred Hitchcock's Rear Window, with Fassbender in the Jimmy Stewart position, and Fincher keeping the camera in the abandoned office space so we're always getting the killer's point of view on his target. Now, so much of this film comes from the killer's narration, as if he's voicing the audiobook of his memoir, detailing how he goes about his work, and the different mantras and reminders that he tells himself. Fincher is always keen on sound, and it's quite noticeable here with their narration, the sound effects like him loading his rifle, or even the precise use of the Smiths as the film's soundtrack. All we know about the title character is that he's quiet, still, and has a survival of the fittest mentality. I believe it's about 45 minutes in until we hear him speak to another character. Tilda Swinton has more dialogue in her one scene than we hear the killer speak in the entire film. There's no real backstory given, and we only know what's happening in accordance to kind of the real time that the killer is carrying out his strategy. There's a coldness to the film, much like Fincher excels at. But don't mistake that as a bad thing, but Fincher delivers on the exact world that the killer lives in. Michael Fassbender always excels at these types of characters, and it's a better use of his skills than his work in Next Gold Wins, which also comes out later this month. Now, under a different filmmaker, The Killer would have been your standard assassin flick with overblown action sequences and idiotic side characters. Fincher makes The Killer distinctly his, a lean, methodical look at the job and what happens when a supposed expert is then thrown off his predetermined track. I'm giving The Killer 4 out of 5 ticket stubs. If you like my review today, click subscribe on my YouTube channel for some other movie reviews, and I'd love to hear from you. Leave me a comment on social media at Paul's Movie Trip. What has been your favorite David Fincher film? I'd love to hear from you. Mine is The Social Network. Paul's Trip to the Movies is brought to you by Imagine Theaters. Tickets are now on sale for The Marvels, Killers of the Flower Moon, Taylor Swift's The Eras Tour. So many great movies are in theaters, and tickets are now on sale for my movie series, Paul McGuire Grimes Presents. You can get tickets on their website or app. Just look for my series coming up November 26th. It's The Big Chill. And we're going to close out the year December 17th with the Judy Garland classic Meet Me in St. Louis. So follow them on social media at ImagineMN. I would love to see you at my movies. We do a discussion after each one of them, so let's talk about what makes these movies so great. I even showed Zodiac, speaking of David Fincher, last month. Thank you so much for watching my review of The Killer. This is Paul's Trip to the Movies.